All right, let's dive into Milan today.
Ooh, Milan.
Yeah, one of those cities everyone's heard of, but
Yeah.
maybe hasn't had the chance to visit yet.
Definitely a bucket list destination.
So we're going to make it irresistible for you. We're using a Substack post as our guide today.
Okay.
It's by Narrative Nomad called Top 10 Places to Visit in Milan.
Catchy.
And it's featured on Love to Visit Italy, so you know it's going to be good.
Yeah, sounds like a good one.
This deep dive is going to cover everything. We've got iconic landmarks, hidden gems, art, history, even some foodie spots.
Ooh, I'm hungry already.
Me too. All right, first up, we got to talk about the Duomo. I mean, it's Milan's most famous landmark for a reason.
It's massive.
Oh, it's huge. Did you know it took almost 6 centuries to build?
Wow, that's dedication.
I know, right? And it's not just the size. It's that stunning pink Candolia marble.
Oh, yeah, it gives it this unique color, especially at sunset.
I've seen pictures. It's like the whole building glows.
And then you've got all those statues, over 3,000 of them.
It's like a Gothic fairy tale come to life.
You can't go to Milan and not see it.
Absolutely. And of course, you got to climb to the roof.
Oh, yeah, those panoramic views are insane. You can see the whole city, even the Alps in the distance.
I bet the pictures don't even do it justice.
No, you have to experience it for yourself.
Okay, next up, we're moving from one masterpiece to another. Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper.
This isn't just any old fresco, though.
Oh, tell me more.
Da Vinci experimented with new techniques, trying to create a really lifelike scene.
I've always been fascinated by that.
The downside is it made the painting super delicate.
Oh, so seeing it in person is even more special.
Exactly. Our source really stresses booking tickets in advance.
Good advice.
They're not kidding. This is a popular one.
And while you're there, the Santa Maria delle Grazie church itself is beautiful too.
Oh yeah, it's a great example of Renaissance architecture.
I love that era.
And the surrounding neighborhood is really charming, lots of little cafes and shops.
Perfect for wandering around after your art fix.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, ready for some history.
Always.
Let's head over to Sforza Castle.
Oh, another iconic spot.
This place has seen it all: sieges, ruling families, you name it.
Centuries of history.
And now it's a museum complex, which I find fascinating.
It's like stepping back in time.
You've got museums dedicated to ancient art, furniture, musical instruments.
Something for everyone.
And if museums aren't your thing, the castle also has these beautiful gardens.
Perfect for a relaxing stroll.
A nice escape from the city.
Exactly.
Okay, enough relaxing. Let's get back to the bustle of Milan.
Where to next?
The Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II.
Ah, the heart of Milan.
It's one of the oldest shopping malls in the world. Can you believe that?
I know, it's crazy to think about.
Picture this. A glass-vaulted arcade flooded with light, high-end shops, historic cafes.
And those intricate mosaics on the floor.
It's like walking on a work of art.
It's the perfect place to soak up that chic Milanese atmosphere.
You some people watching, grab an espresso, maybe treat yourself to something fancy.
Sounds like a plan.
Speaking of art, we got to mention the Pinacoteca di Brera.
One of Italy's top art museums.
It's a haven for Renaissance masterpieces.
We're talking Raphael, Caravaggio, Titian, the big names.
If you're an art lover, this is a must-see.
Definitely. And right next door is the Brera Botanical Garden.
Ooh, little oasis of peace in the city.
Perfect for decompressing after all that art.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground already.
We're just getting started with our Milan adventure.
That's right. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll explore even more of this amazing city.
I can't wait. Welcome back to Milan. You know what really strikes me about the city is how it manages to blend the old and the new so well.
Yeah, it's true.
Like you can be walking past a centuries-old church and then bam, there's this super modern art gallery.
Makes it feel really dynamic.
Definitely.
Okay, Narrative Nomad suggests checking out the Fondazione Prada next.
Ooh, good one.
And I think it's a perfect example of what we were just talking about.
Yeah, how so?
Well, they took this former distillery and turned it into this hub for contemporary art and culture.
I love when they repurpose old buildings like that.
Me too. Gives it so much character.
Exactly. And it's not just about the art itself, it's how they use the space.
So it's like the building is part of the art experience.
Yeah, you get this cool mix of industrial chic and avant-garde.
This is pretty cool. Definitely adding that to my list.
Good choice. But, you know, for all its modern flair, Milan doesn't forget its past either.
Like with Sforza Castle.
Exactly. It could have easily been left to crumble, but they turned it into this amazing museum complex.
Shows how much they value their history.
And you can really dive deep into it there.
What do you mean?
Well, you've got rooms filled with ancient Roman artifacts, Renaissance sculptures, even antique musical instruments.
So it's like a crash course in Milanese history?
Pretty much.
Speaking of history, we talked about the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II earlier, but we didn't really get into its backstory.
Oh, yeah, it's got a fascinating history.
So tell me, what's the story behind this glamorous shopping arcade?
Well, it was built in the 19th century when Milan was experiencing this huge economic boom.
Makes sense.
It was meant to be this symbol of the city's progress and ambition.
And it still stands as that today.
Exactly. It's amazing to think that people were strolling through those same arches over 100 years ago,
It's like stepping back in time.
but with better shopping.
True.
Okay, speaking of timeless, let's shift gears to Teatro alla Scala,
Ah, let's go.
one of those places that just transcends time, a true icon.
And I hear the backstage tours are incredible.
Oh, yeah, you get to see all the behind-the-scenes magic.
Imagine peeking into the costume rooms, the workshops, the rehearsal spaces.
It would be fascinating to see how it all comes together.
Narrative Nomad also highlights San Siro Stadium.
Ooh, a must for football fans.
I'm not the biggest sports enthusiast, but even I know San Siro is legendary.
It's home to two of Italy's most famous teams, AC Milan and Inter Milan.
I can only imagine the atmosphere during a match.
Electric, absolutely electric. Thousands of fans, all cheering their hearts out.
Sounds intense.
It is. But even if you're not into football, they have stadium tours and a museum.
So you can still experience the history and the energy.
Exactly.
Okay, to round out our Milan exploration, we got to talk about food.
Of course.
Our guide recommends the Mercato di Via Fausch for an authentic taste of Milanese cuisine.
Now you're speaking my language.
Forget those fancy restaurants. Give me the real deal.
I hear ya. So this market is basically a foodie paradise.
Tell me more.
Picture stalls overflowing with fresh produce, local cheeses, cured meats, all sorts of delicious things.
Okay, stop. I'm getting hungry.
The aromas alone are incredible. Fresh basil, ripe tomatoes, freshly baked bread.
Sensory overload in the best way possible.
Definitely. It's the perfect place to sample regional specialties, chat with the vendors, get a real feel for the local culinary scene.
You're selling me on this. Sounds like the heart and soul of Milanese culture.
It really is.
Wow, we've covered so much ground.
From grand cathedrals to bustling markets, Milan really does have it all.
It's incredible how much this city packs in.
And we're not done yet. Stay tuned for the final part of our Milan deep dive, where we'll uncover even more hidden gems and iconic spots.
Back in Milan, it feels like we've barely scratched the surface even after all this.
I know, right? Milan is just packed with stuff to see and do.
It's been such a journey so far, using Narrative Nomad's list as our guide.
It's a good one.
I keep thinking back to what you said earlier about Milan blending the old and the new so well.
Yeah, it's not stuck in the past, but it's not trying to erase it either.
Like a perfect balance.
Exactly.
You see it everywhere, from those repurposed spaces like the Fondazione Prada
Oh, yeah.
to the modern designs in the Galleria.
And even in a place like La Scala, you can sense that forward-thinking energy.
Speaking of La Scala,
Yeah?
we got to talk about those must-do experiences in Milan.
Okay, what's top of the list?
I think attending a performance at La Scala has to be up there.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's legendary.
The grandeur of the venue, the world-class performers, all that history.
Gives me chills just thinking about it.
It's an experience you won't forget.
And while we're talking about unforgettable experiences, the Duomo.
Oh, that view from the rooftop.
It's like the whole city unfolds before you.
And on a clear day, you can see all the way to the Alps.
It's not just the view, though.
No, what else?
It's being up close with this architectural masterpiece, seeing the details of those statues and spires up close.
Definitely.
It makes you appreciate the artistry and dedication that went into creating it.
Yeah, centuries of work.
Speaking of artistry, let's go back to the Pinacoteca di Brera.
Ah, a must for any art lover.
It's like a who's who of Italian Renaissance masters. Raphael, Caravaggio, Titian.
All in one place.
Just imagine wandering through those galleries, taking it all in.
And then stepping out into the peace and quiet of the Brera Botanical Garden.
The perfect contrast.
Couldn't agree more.
You know, as we wrap up this Milan deep dive, I'm just struck by the diversity of experiences this city has to offer.
Me too.
Whether you're into art, history, food, or just soaking up the vibe of a vibrant city, Milan has something for everyone. It really does have it all.
Narrative Nomad's list has been a fantastic guide, giving us a real taste of what makes Milan so special.
So for our listeners out there, what stood out to you the most? What piqued your curiosity?
We'd love to hear your thoughts.
And most importantly, use this deep dive as a starting point.
Explore further, discover your own hidden gems, and experience the magic of Milan for yourself.
That's right. Keep diving deep.